Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the show. We're your hosts, Grant Cohn, Coach Noah Johnston. Yesterday, during my live stream with Vish, the news broke that Jimmy Garoppolo wasn't at practice. Since then, things have gotten very strange and interesting in Niner land, and we've had a night to sleep on it and make sense of it. So we're going to talk about what the Niners do moving forward and this very interesting game against Houston coming up, which all of a sudden looks losable, or I guess, I don't know, a wild card. Anyway, let's start with Jimmy, though. Jimmy Garoppolo, what really happened to him? We Coach and I like to go tinfoil hat. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to try to lay out the facts as well as we know them and try to interpret them later. So let's see if we can do that first. Okay. So it seems to me that they say he got injured in the second quarter on that sack. It was a nationally televised game. No camera picked up him, grimacing or any trainer checking him out. It was never reported to the media afterward. After the game, he was using his thumb. He was opening water bottles. It seemed like if it was communicated to anyone, it was very informal and it wasn't taken seriously at the time. A few days later, he's probably at home on Christmas vacation on this mini bye week, and it starts to hurt more. And this is where the disconnect comes in between him and the Niners, because yesterday when Kyle Shanahan finally reported what was going on, he said it's a sprain. And then immediately afterward, there's, Schefter saying, no, it's more than that. Saying it's broken and there's a torn ligament. When Kyle had been asked point blank, is it broken? He said no. So where's this disconnect come from? I'm guessing, that it got worse when he went home. He got it checked out on his own, probably. He probably had his own imaging done. And I'm guessing, the Niners still haven't officially checked him. I wonder if any Niners trainers have checked him, because it doesn't sound like he was there at the facility yesterday. He'll probably be there on Wednesday, and they'll finally check him out tomorrow. But I think it's gotten weird because there was this mini bye week. He went home, and maybe he didn't really communicate everything right up front. Maybe the Niners were surprised when he didn't show up for practice.
Right, and Schefter and everybody were getting their information not from inside the Niners, but inside Jimmy G's camp.
That seems pretty clear. If the Niners are giving out information that's instantly proven or not instantly contradicted, I don't think they're contradicting themselves with leaks. It seems like usually there's the team side and the player's side. And it seems like whoever is leaking to these two guys is making it seem like, it's worse than the Niners are making it seem. It's worse than the Niners are making it seem. So, that seems like that would probably come from the players' camp, but I don't know. Probably, but I don't know. Probably, but I don't know. So it seems to me like, can we interpret that there's bad blood? Or, this could be a million reasons that Jimmy Garoppolo would get this checked out on his own and not be but again, like having Kyle Shanahan go out there and say the wrong thing, like what's up with that? Are they not being forthcoming with the 49ers? That seems like almost that there's bad blood between the two sides. Like maybe Jimmy feels, hey, you kind of threw me under the bus for this loss, so maybe I'm going to protect myself and see how you guys do without me. I don't know. It seems very strange that they're not on the same page.
I think it's safe to assume like they're not things aren't perfect between them, right? You traded 3 first-round picks for his replacement, so like
it's already awkward.
Right. It's already, like you said, it's already awkward. Things aren't perfect between them. Like maybe it's better than a situation could have been, but there's already some angst there.
I felt like they were going to scapegoat him for the eventual loss in the playoffs. Like whatever, they were praising him, but when they lost in the playoffs, they were going to blame him, and it's going to be 100% his fault. Well, that just happened a few weeks early. It happened in Tennessee. It's exactly what happened. And I think, I don't know, I have no idea what happened, but I could see from Jimmy's perspective, like, you're just going to make me the fall guy? I had one bad game? Okay, fine. I'm the bad guy.
Right.
Let's see how you guys do it. Now, it does seem like a very serious injury. I'm not saying he's faking it. It's, chip bone, torn ligament. Sounds serious. But I could see him like being like, all right, well, you'll find out when you find out, and let's see how prepared you are to not have me.
Right. With the whole tinfoil hat theory, I think you got to think what would be why, if you're thinking about a reason for him to fake an injury or anything or the Niners
I don't think he's faking an injury.
Like right now, and I don't think the Niners would be blowing it up either, because there's no reason for that. The Niners ideally they want to trade him for the highest value, and he's had injury plagued past. So him getting another injury is not helping them on that front. And number two, if he's trying to go to another team after this, him getting another injury is not helping him on that. So there's no positive angle for him to have injury other than like, oh well, that explains why he played so poorly, but that's not enough to make it better than, it's not enough, right? Like,
to me, the most interesting factor here is why did the Niners not know the facts? Like, why are the Niners the last to know? Usually the team and the player will be in lockstep, but it's a very awkward relationship between the two. It was held together very weirdly all season. I think we knew how it was going to end, and it just ended a few weeks before we were expecting, and before the playoffs. Anyway,
if you were Jimmy G, would you trust their medical staff?
No.
Yeah,
but also I would, if I were Jimmy G, I would feel. I think this is different, but I think that there's a weird dynamic between Jimmy and the Niners. Okay, Jimmy didn't act this way in New England, I don't think, because it's New England. They're established without him. But he came to the Niners, they were nothing, right? 1-10. And he was Jimmy Jesus. He was Jimmy Savior. And after that, I mean, I think the dynamic of you pretty much had to kiss the ring and bow down to Jimmy Garoppolo in Santa Clara, because Kyle was nothing as a head coach without him. That team was nothing without him. And in 5 years, they've won 7 games without him. So I think that, he's been a good sport about it all, but I think his camp probably feels like, okay, you're making Jimmy the bad guy here. What are you guys really without Jimmy? You say you carry Jimmy. All right, well, go carry Lance then. And again, I'm not saying that Jimmy's like shutting himself down to prove a point, but I just feel like now that he's hurt, the fact that the Niners are not getting a clear line of communication from him feels like the bitter end to a bitter relationship. It's no longer your business. I'm out. And I don't think if it's really what they're saying is, that's probably a 6-week injury. He's probably not going to play anymore for this team.
Right. I mean, didn't he essentially shut himself down to prove a point last year?
I don't know.
I mean, that was another tinfoil hat theory, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't know. He got hurt twice. Anyway, so now what happens? Like, does he have any trade value? Will he refuse to play for this team next year? Will the Niners cut him? Will they force him to retire for a year? What is the next step with Jimmy Garoppolo here? I mean, he's gotten hurt twice this year, twice last year. He's going to be 31 next year. He's still going to be on the hook for $27 million. It's not guaranteed, but I don't think. What's going on? What's the next move?
I mean, in my opinion, I don't see them getting anything better than a third pick for a third round. Now, and
I'm happy to get a third round pick for him.
Right.
Wow.
But who's going to want to take that salary? Like, I think if I'm a team, I'm interested in Jimmy on the free agent market, where I can make him an offer in probably the $12 million range. And I feel like I can win. I could probably win with him at that salary. But I'm not taking him at 25. And if you're the Niners, is it worth it to foot half of that salary for a third or fourth round pick? I don't think so. All right, give me the salary. So in my opinion, I would just straight cut him.
Yeah.
As the Niners, because I don't think the value is there. Now, if it is, then
I would cut him too, but they're not going to. They're going to be really. I feel like they could have like an Al Davis-esque standoff here, where they're like, "We're not going to cut you. We refuse. There is value here, and we're not just going to give you away." And Jimmy's like, "Well, I don't want to play here anymore. I'm out." And they could be like, "Well, you have to retire for a year then. Sorry, you have to wait until we have you under contract for." It could get messy. That's the one thing I'm curious about. Is this going to get messy in the offseason? Because I'm not sure they can trade him. To me, if there was a trade market for Jimmy, it was New England. It was the New England Patriots. And I'm betting they're looking at this right now and being like, thank God we drafted Mac Jones and didn't do that, because look at him. He's hurt. Same guy, hurt twice. Right. So I don't know that there's a trade market for this guy, especially, you look at a third round pick like Davis Mills playing well. Maybe team will look at this draft class and be like, okay, maybe there's no franchise quarterback, but why don't I just draft Desmond Ridder in round 2 instead of trading a round 2 pick for Jimmy Garoppolo?
Right. So here's the thing. What Jimmy is he's injury prone.
Yep.
And he's turnover prone. Like those
Makes
are
bad decisions,
two,
doesn't throw downfield, doesn't improve, and
but
has this air about him. Like I think it comes back to the Niners were nothing with that. He seems uncoachable to me. He makes the same mistakes all the time. To me, he seems like a smiling, uncoachable guy who's I got it made. I got it figured out. And that's what I think I don't like about his play. He's always got that smile after a pick like it's not his fault. He's always got an excuse. I don't think he's coachable. I don't think he really cares enough to take his game to the next level. I don't think he does. I grew up on Steve Young. Damn it. Right. I know what that looks like. I'm just saying.
I've never had a problem with him laughing and or something about it because people emotionally handle situations differently. Now where I do agree with you now, where he doesn't take responsibility after a game, it's not it's we, it's all that. Big time quarterbacks immediately after the game will tell you it's on me. Yep. It's on me. Like,
and that's doing a service for your teammates. Like it takes the pressure off of all of them. They appreciate it.
Right. And in the NFL, it's about the quarterback. I mean, everybody pretty much knows that. A lot of games are pretty much win or lost with quarterback play. And you're literally the highest paid player on the team, which right.
Let's talk about what his excuses after this game real quick. I mean, he said that it should have been a touchdown to George Kittle. No, he was clearly not open. You decided to throw that pass to a guy who was clearly covered. Now, maybe had he run a different route, he would have been open.
Right.
But you have eyes, and you saw the route he run and the fact that he was not covered. That's on you, dude. And your thumb wasn't broken at that point. You missed wide open Kyle Juszczyk before your thumb was broken. That's on you. I mean, you can't go up there and say that should have been also the fourth down to Brandon Ayuk. Dude, Ayuk did it right. It was zone coverage. There was a guy in front of him. He settled down. That's on you, dude. And he will never say it's on me. He's, well, it kind of implies it's on Brandon there. It's on George. Like, no.
And those three mistakes are all the same things we've all said about he can't throw outside. That's outside the numbers and deep. That's the juice throw.
Yep.
He throws too much over and gets picked over the middle. Those are the two picks he had. Over the middle, force the ball.
His worst play of the game was the pick that wasn't intercepted. The one that was dropped by Rashaan Evans. I mean, that would have been a pick six. That was again right to the middle linebacker. That was the Bobby Wagner interception from 3 weeks ago. He does it especially in practice. And that's what told me the most. I mean, it's like deja vu. That was the worst one and it didn't count.
Do you know his interception percentage this season, right? It's 2.4 out of 2.4% out of qualifying quarterbacks. Do you know the quarterbacks that are worse than him?
Who?
Kyler Murray at 2.5, Mac Jones at 2.6, Trevor Lawrence at 2.6, Tua at 2.7, Davis Mills at 2.7, Joe Burrow at 2.9, Ryan Tannehill at 2.9, Baker Mayfield at 2.9, Taylor Haneke at 3.2, Sam Darnold at 3.3, Zach Wilson at 3.3, Lamar Jackson at 3.4, and Justin Fields at 3.7.
Wow.
They're like all rookies and quarterbacks that you don't want.
Right. And again, Jimmy plays like a rookie. All right. I think that's enough of Jimmy. I mean, that's 15 minutes on Jimmy Garoppolo, who may have played his last game with the 49ers. So, Jimmy, it was a very interesting era, and I hope you the best in your next endeavor, wherever that may be. Although I'm not sure. I'm curious to see how weird this gets over the next few months.
Yeah, hopefully they just release. Hopefully the Niners can admit their mistakes and just move on.
Cut him. You should have cut him. You should have cut him last year.
Yeah.
Big Bad Brad says out with the old, in with the gold. It rhymed. I liked it. Grant, I feel like you scripted this season laughing much. Wow. Well, I wish. That's pretty funny. It's not funny. Trey Area, I'd rather live with Trey learning and making some mistakes as a rookie instead of dealing with a 30-year-old quarterback making some rookie mistakes. Yeah. We were just talking about that.
Yeah, I just read all the quarterback interception percentage. The majority of them are rookies. He's on par with
30-year-old rookie. Remember the 40-year-old virgin? He's a 30-year-old rookie. He is. He's a 30-year-old rookie. David Velez says there is a 0% chance of Jimmy G playing anytime in the next 4 weeks. The UCL is what articulates the thumb toward the finger. Without it, other ligaments take over, making passes inaccurate and extremely painful. Well, that's why I'm so surprised that he was able to like finish the game and open up a water bottle after the game. But again, I understand that things get worse over time, yada, yada, yada.
Right.
Fine. I'm with him. I don't expect him to play again this season. I think this is all about Lance now. And that's why the title of the show is what it is. We're going to talk about Lance now after we finish these questions. I think Lance will do great Sunday if he starts. Texans D is not great, and Lance will have Debo, Kittle, Mitchell, and BA. He will, most likely. But
yeah,
we're going to talk a lot about this game. Hold on. Trey can run, strong arm, take care of the ball in college. Big playability, nothing but upside. Upgrade to Jimmy. Kyle, don't run him like a running back, please. Oh yeah, we're going to talk about exactly how they should use Trey Lance. That's a topic of ours.
I think he did. We'll talk about it, but I think he hit on a big note right there, which is Trey in the past is taking care of the football.
Yes, that's a good thing. If Kyle dies up a Mullins or CJ call game, Lance will excel. Yeah, it's like the training wheels game for the Kyle Shanahan offense, right? A lot of easy throws. And I mean, really in this last game, there were 22 attempts for Jimmy within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage. 22. Kyle does this all the time. Do it again. This is the worst case scenario for the Niners. If they miss the playoffs, it will be on Lance now. Then the debate on moving away from Jimmy will continue. Okay, let's talk about that because I think you bring up a really good point. There is like an 800-pound gorilla on Lance's back. There's a ton of pressure on him. And I think we need to go back to the last 11 weeks. I've been the guy, while Niner fans were really grooving off of this 500-ish season. And while they were in the middle of that nice little hot streak, they didn't want to hear about the fact that Lance wasn't getting any snaps. And I kept being like, well, couldn't you have played him at the end of this game? And couldn't you have gotten him some snaps here? But no. And now, guess what? Jimmy's probably not going to play for a while. And the season depends on Trey Lance. And I feel like there is a consequence now of not playing him at all the last 11 weeks. I mean, he's not as ready as he could have, should have, would have been had they given him some snaps and they had any number of opportunities to do so. This week, they're going against a rookie who has shown noticeable improvement because he started like 10 games. So if the Niners miss the playoffs, people are going to say, well, it's because Trey Lance isn't good. You could also say it's because the Niners didn't prepare him for what was inevitable. I mean, really, are we surprised that Jimmy Garoppolo got hurt again? This happened last year. And it's not just Jimmy that gets hurt. A lot of quarterbacks have gotten hurt this year. I mean, what team hasn't gone to a second quarterback this year? I'm looking here. 56 quarterbacks this year have attempted at least 30 passes. So I don't understand how the Niners weren't prepared for Jimmy Garoppolo to get hurt. I mean, isn't that the whole point of having Trey Lance and him on the team together this year?
I think to that they would say our preparation for Jimmy being hurt was drafting Trey Lance, right?
I guess we'll see how much the scout team prepares Trey Lance. Well, I guess we'll see. Yeah. Because my contention is that just any type of game experience, being in the huddle, hearing the play, getting the snap, handing it off would help at least, but he didn't get it in the last 11 weeks. And now the Niners need this guy to be basically come off the bench cold and win a Super Bowl or take them to the playoffs. Take them to the playoffs.
I guess, Grant, my biggest issue too, if they were going to know they were going to go this route and not play Lance, was why, when we talked about this months ago, he should have gotten a ton of playing experience in the preseason. Yep. They should have played him like 80% of the time. To not F around with those other quarterbacks, just play Lance.
Jimmy's your starter? Then sit him. Don't play him.
Play him for a series or 2 series or whatever.
Right.
But just play Lance the entire time.
Also, he shouldn't have been just having scout team reps. He should have had 25% or something of your first team reps every week, specifically because quarterbacks get hurt. Your quarterback is more injury prone than most. Be prepared. Be prepared.
Right.
Now, I'm not saying Lance is going to be awful. I have no idea what he's going to look like, but you got to prepare for this. No matter who your quarterback is, but especially if it's Jimmy Garoppolo. When they drafted Trey Lance, they didn't want to put down Jimmy. So what they kept saying was, this is because of the injuries. We just have to be prepared. We can't let what happened last season happen this season. Well, is it going to happen this season? Are you going to miss the playoffs because your backup quarterback wasn't prepared? I mean, he's talented, but he's 21. He didn't play last year. He didn't play this year. Is he now going to come off the bench and save you? I mean, it's fair to wonder if that's even a fair expectation.
No, and I think, but I also think if you think about this too, is that there's not really a perfect time to insert Lance. Like there's always going to be. He would have always had this monkey on his shoulder with Jimmy Garoppolo, whether it was the start of this season and they had cut Jimmy Garoppolo, whether it was next season and they cut. If he started next season, you don't think that there'd be immense pressure on him because they just released Jimmy Garoppolo, who was,
Right.
who 49ers fans love. I mean, he's going to have pressure regardless of the situation. Now it's about
more than that. They traded 3 first-round picks for him.
Right, and that
he has the biggest monkey on his back of all time. Remember when we were kids, I used to talk about Steve had the monkey on his back of having to. You can't just be good. You have to be better than Joe Montana and justify the switch. Trey Lance has to justify the switch from Jimmy Garoppolo and justify the trade. The freaking trade. You have to be top 5. If he's like the 8th best quarterback in the league, people be like, I don't know if it was worth it. Rough. Not his fault. That is not his fault. That's the Niners' problem. I really hope people don't judge Trey on that because that is the Niners thing. Like, was the trade worth it? Not. I'm just saying.
I'm going to say the caveat to that. The caveat to that would be is if they won a Super Bowl. If he had the worst season in the league, but they won a Super Bowl, then
good point. They'll take it.
It would be validated.
That's true.
Right.
So I'm not saying the Niners are going to miss the playoffs, but if they do, you really have to look at this decision not to make Trey Lance's readiness more important. They were basically saying, we're all in with Jimmy. Forget all of our misgivings from last year. Forget all that. Jimmy's going to be healthy and he's going to take us to the playoffs. Like, okay. I mean, no one's questioning about, people are saying he's not, people were sort of quibbling about how well he was playing, but really the issue was, is he going to stay healthy? And the answer is no. 4 injuries in 21 games since the Super Bowl, man. You got to be prepared for this.
Is he going to stay healthy and is he going to protect the ball? And both answers have been no.
And it's only good to me. He's only going to get slower. He's not going to get better. He's going to get worse. So anyway, this is hindsight, but I called it. All Pro Warner 54 says this is the worst case scenario for the Niners if they miss the playoffs. I think I already answered that, but I appreciate you saying it. Thank you.
So I do want to say, I don't think, in my opinion, it's not all on Lance because to me, the Niners were never a Super Bowl contending team. They don't have all the pieces. They have some elite players, but they need more, and they need particularly more at the quarterback position. And it wasn't going to come from Jimmy this year. And in my opinion, I don't know that Lance would have been ready either, even if he played the entire season. But next year he might be ready, and that's why I wanted him to play because this experience would help him for next year. And next year the Niners might be ready because they would have that cap space from Jimmy Garoppolo and be able to put together a better roster and all of that. Yep. So I don't like.
But now you're in kind of purgatory this year and next year too. Like, right? I mean, you're 8-7. That's cool, but that's kind of franchise purgatory. You're not good. You're not bad. You're not young. What is the next step? How do you go from good to great?
And also, I'll say this to 49er fans is it a given that if Jimmy played, that the 49ers would have beat the Texans and the Rams, and they would have gotten the help that they need to make the playoffs? No. Remember, Jimmy put them in this situation where they are now, right? Where they don't control their own destiny. So, I mean, aside from one game, which Trey Lance was a starter and they lost to the Cardinals, it's all been Jimmy Garoppolo. So, like, I don't think you can put all this on Trey Lance, regardless of what happens in the next 2 games.
Eddie Marcos 916 says the thumb is an excuse to bench Jimmy. Benching him would hurt his trade value. I don't know if I believe that tinfoil hat theory because Trey's not ready. They've been saying for months he's not ready to do anything, and all of a sudden he's had a few good weeks of practice. Like, no, Jimmy's hurt, and the Niners clearly didn't really know it. I mean, they didn't say anything to us after the game. They didn't say anything to us the next day or the next day or the next day. They seemed kind of blindsided by it. When they finally announced it, they didn't have the details right. It was worse than what they said. Like, is it broken? No. Wrong. Like, what? So to me, this is more like Jimmy being, hey, man, you guys didn't appreciate me. I tried to gut it out. I tried to be a tough guy, team player, didn't use it as an excuse. You guys threw me under the bus. good luck making the playoffs without me. I'm the bad guy. Fine. I'm out. I can see that. That to me makes more sense. Like I'm hurt, but I'm not even going to, you guys can figure it out. Like, I don't even care. I don't like you guys anymore. I'm protecting myself. You guys can find out when you find out.
Eddie, I would say, what do you think hurts his trade value more? Him getting injured again after injury-prone career, or getting benched? If I'm a GM, I'm more concerned about him being an injury-prone quarterback than getting benched. Because
but his agent can sell like, well, you know, Russell Wilson hurt his finger this year too. I mean, it's kind of a fluky injury. It doesn't mean he's going to get his. You know what I'm telling you too. It's just long enough to knock him out for the rest of the year, but I mean, it's not going to really affect his. I don't know if it affects his trade value. You could say, look at it like it's another injury, and that's why it's always something. You could look at it that way. In fact, if I were a team, I would look at it that way.
No, exactly right.
It's always something. Tony says Brett Favre played with a bad thumb with a little drop off. He was Brett Favre though. Is that true? I don't remember that.
So
I'm sure it sounds like something he would do.
I know
if Trey played.
Donovan McNabb threw 4 touchdowns on a broken ankle and won a game.
That's true. If Trey plays well and shows promise, but we don't make playoffs as a fan, I am ecstatic. If Trey plays well and shows promise, how are they going to lose to the Texans? I'm just saying. I mean, they have a really good team. They should probably beat the Texans if their quarterback is ready to play. I'm not sure he is.
Well, special teams.
Good point. Yeah, we're going to talk about that. Much of this Jimmy injury feels like a way to move to Lance without the drama storm. It's a really strange time to move to Lance after refusing to play one loss. And all of a sudden it's like, let's just go to Lance 2 weeks before the playoffs. That just doesn't seem like, I don't know. It seems like he's hurt to me. It seems like Jimmy's like, yo, I'm really hurt. And the Niners are like, no, you're not. It's just a sprain. And then he's like, no, wait a second. I'm really hurt. Or whoever is telling these people. So I don't know. We'll find out. Kyle's ego ruined Trey's rookie year. Fire Kyle. I'm really interested to see how toxic this gets if they miss the playoffs, man. They missed the playoffs.
We don't know if his rookie year is ruined. I mean, he's got 2 games. Let's see what he. I mean, listen. This is a chance for Kyle to prove that he's right. Like if Trey comes out and throws for 300 yards and is awesome, like, told him so he needed to sit.
Yep, that's true. That's true. Wesley says it's not impossible for Lance to come in and win a Super Bowl. How amazing would that be? It would be pretty amazing. Could happen. It would be quite amazing.
I don't see it. I don't think they have the team around him to do it.
All Kyle needs to do is not do what he did in Arizona, and we will be fine. Edge can't crash when Trey is in. Just let him hand off for easy gains. Feel me? We're going to talk about that. I do feel you, though. I have to say I 100% agree with you. Vince says, it's weird how the Warner comments came out, and then literally less than a week later, Trey Lance era starts. Is that just a coincidence? Great question. What do you think?
Yes, because I'm not a believer in the conspiracy about this thumb injury. I think it's real. So
yeah, I think it's real too. That's a good answer. It's a good answer. I think this is a real injury. I don't think this is the Niners' choice. I think this is Jimmy got hurt. And
I do think it's a little weird that those comments came out, but for different reasons. Not
if Trey wins Sunday, Jimmy G area is over. I think the Jimmy G area has been over. No, I think it's over. I think it's over one way or another. I don't think he's coming back. What are the chances Jimmy G got injured at home? That thought did cross my mind. I don't know. I guess hey, Niners figured that one out. You might want to find out.
Yeah. It's going to be this Sunday.
If I were the Niners, I would definitely wonder.
Yeah. He was hitting up that PS4. He was late night.
Yeah, man. He just got a little too vigorous on Madden 2000 or whatever. Thank you, Robert. Appreciate you. Quarters.
Robert.
Anthony says, Kyle, keep running the ball 25 plus times. Trey can scramble if he needs to. He can be a game manager with big playability. Lance can scramble his way to the Super Bowl. He is reading our minds here, at least my mind. Thank you, Antonio. Dang, we got hecka topics. Hecka. When we were kids, you couldn't say hella in school, so you said hecka.
Is that a RW McQuarters?
Probably his brother. Robert McQuarters says, do you think Niners only listen to AFC offers? Dude, they will take any offer.
Oh.
Any offer.
I think if you're a team, you listen to all offers, but it's just if a team is in your division or in your conference, that It just has to be.
Dude, if Seattle wants Jimmy, hey man, take him.
Yeah,
you make a bad decision. I mean, that's I think the Niners traded up with Seattle for Reuben Foster. Like Seattle was like, oh, you want Reuben? Psh, okay, go ahead.
I mean, if you're Seattle, and the Niners offered you 6 first-round picks for Russell Wilson, wouldn't you do that?
Yeah. Salas Fadi says, can we talk about how Lance's ability to help the defense against Arizona? He kept drives alive with his legs. Defense played well. No Jim's 3-and-outs. That's true. They didn't have a lot of 3-and-outs. I like a quarterback who can scramble. It's just that, they use him like a running back in that game, and we always wondered why. I asked Kyle, like, was his broken finger affecting him in that game? He's like, absolutely. It's definitely was, and now it's all healed up. So I think that could be one. Maybe that's why Kyle called that game the way he did, because his finger is messed up, and it's kind of like he's not throwing the ball well right now. Possible, because he wasn't throwing the ball well after that. I mean, he wasn't.
When did he hurt his finger in that game?
Here's finger in the last preseason game against the Raiders.
Oh, okay.
The Raiders. Dropping D Ford and Jimmy's salary will free up cap space for the offseason. Now they need to spend it on a corner, and that second round draft pick too.
Yeah, the corner market it's not very robust. So it's like it's basically Stephon Gilmore and everybody else. So
who is better, Jimmy or Garcia?
JC Jackson, but JC Jackson's gonna get franchised by the Patriots. So
yeah, who is better, Jimmy or Garcia?
Garcia,
man. People, I guess I don't know. Like kids may not remember Garcia, but Garcia was an athlete. Garcia came to the Niners. I think he started at like 29, so he was a little bit older than Jimmy when he got here, and he would run for like 400 yards a year. I mean, he was a freaking athlete, and he had no offensive line. He was really good at avoiding pressure. He did have Terrell Owens, but Jimmy has freaking Kittle and Debo, and he didn't have the running game that Jimmy's had. There was never a time where Garcia could just hand off 40 times a game. Like he didn't have it like that. It was a pass first team with a bad defense, and he was really good. He was a multi-year Pro Bowler. He was in the MVP conversation. Only reason he wasn't quite as good as Kurt Warner and Brett Favre at that time, but he was like the third or fourth best quarterback in the league.
Yeah,
I mean, I thought he was better than Rich Gannon, who won an MVP.
He was better. He was
always better than Gannon.
Right. I don't know if this is a hot take. He's better than Kaepernick.
Yeah. Again, I thought at that time in like 2000, 99, from 99 to 2001, the only quarterbacks in the league who were better than him, that was sort of before Peyton Manning had taken off, before Brady had taken off. It was Favre and Warner. Favre? I mean, he was right there with McNabb, with McNair. He was right there with them, if not better. Garcia was really good.
Yeah, because he was consistently a top 10 quarterback in the league. Like, yeah, Garcia, and he didn't turn the ball over.
Yeah, McNabb was a little bit later. He was 2000. So McNair would have been there. I mean, McNair was really good. I thought Garcia was as good or better than McNair, who was this close to winning a Super Bowl and was a hell of a player. He won an MVP too, didn't he?
Garcia?
McNair.
Oh, I think he did.
Yeah. So that's how good. Garcia was at the borderline MVP level. Jimmy Garoppolo was never even a Pro Bowler.
No.
So that's my answer. But that was also back when I was a Niner fan. I love Jeff Garcia. I used to pick him first round in fantasy football drafts just because. And I would lose. But,
right.
we control our own destiny with Miami's win last night. That's great. Good point. That is good. And now Trey Lance controls your destiny. Jimmy set the bar so low for Trey Lance. I believe Trey is good enough to win these last two games. His ability to run upgrades the offense. I just hope he's ready. I just hope he's been prepared for this. I mean, the Niners really put him on ice like they weren't going to need him this year, and now, boom. Oh, whole season depends on you. So now we're in a space where we're comparing Jimmy to Favre. Logs off chat. One is Iron Man, the other is Mr. Glass. Yeah. Man, we got heck of comments today. Hecka. I'm going PG today. Kyle is like Angela from The Office, ditches Dwight because of his dumb shenanigans, but makes life miserable for Andy. Oh, that's funny. That is funny. I like that. R.W. McQuarter's son. You guys are real. Oh! Oh! Are you R.W. the third? Man, R.W. was a baller. Hey, thank you, Robert. Say hello to your dad for me.
Yeah, maybe he could come back and return punts and kick returns for the 49ers.
The R.W. McQuarter was one of the final cornerbacks the Niners drafted in round one. They drafted him, Ahmed Plummer, Mike Rumpf. Those were three in like the late 90s, early 2000s. Since then, they have gone like 20 drafts in a row without doing it. So shout out RW. I hope all the Jimmy stands leave with Jimmy. The Jimmy stands, I don't know. It'd be interesting how they will. Well, what happened to the? Are they like the LeBron? Do they go from team to team, or is it just a segment of the Niners population that the same segment that loved Alex Smith when he was the quarterback and game managing?
I think I don't know. In my opinion, ultimately Jimmy fans are 49ers fans, so they'll get over it and they'll learn to love Trey Lance. And
if Dave says just getting on
Trey
here.
Lance is good.
Is it finally time for Trey? What's up, guys? Yeah, I think so. It's not official yet. We'll find out. But yeah, could we trade Jimmy for 2 solid DBs? Could we make it work? Dude, no. Cut him.
Yeah.
Cut him. The trade market was New England, I think. Truth equals Trey Lance is better than Jimmy. Keep playing bully ball with 3 running backs, with running backs 30 to 40 times a game. Trey equals huge energy shift heading into the playoffs. Relax and enjoy the show. I'm excited, Noop. I just hope that he's actually adequately prepared. Is it time to let Adam Peters take John Lynch's seat? I'm telling you something. If the Niners miss the playoffs and someone's got to get held responsible, it might just be the dude who had the Twitter fingers on Christmas Eve. I'm just saying.
My question to that comment would be: is if you're going to make that sort of move, is Adam Peters the right guy to put in that?
Good call. Jimmy Garoppolo couldn't beat the Titans without Henry. What makes all these Jimmy apologists think he was going on the road and beat 4 playoff teams? Shake my head. Trey time. Yep. Yeah. That was the end. That was his Waterloo. Tennessee. Who knew? I was there. I watched it happen. I was not expecting it. I picked the Niners to win. McNair won co-MVP with Peyton. That is true. And he was with
barbecue.
Yeah, they did have good barbecue. I went to Martin's. It was good. All right, back on track. This is a must-win game, Coach. If they lose this game to Houston, it would be so deflating. I think the team would probably lose confidence in their quarterback and themselves, and it'd be hard to expect them to beat the Rams. I think their playoff hopes, their season depends on beating Houston, and Houston is beatable, but they've won 2 in a row. One was against Jacksonville, but another was against the Chargers, who are, just as mediocre as the Niners, and they really put it on them. I scored 41 points. This kid, Davis Mills, is looking pretty decent. What's at stake here, and what do you think are some keys to the game for the Niners?
The thing I say it all year, it's turnovers. Can't turn the ball over, and you.
And now that's Trey Lance's task. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And, the Niners defense hasn't been great at getting them, so if they can manage to scrape out a turnover, that would be great as well. And you got to minimize your special team mistakes. I know they're not. The special teams are not going to be great. I'm not going to set unrealistic expectations, but they've got to be better. Like they can't lose. They got to be better.
You got to stop losing games on special teams. It should just be a wash, right? Special teams should just be a wash. You shouldn't even notice it.
Right.
You're losing games on special teams.
Yeah. Right. It's
How?
We've questioned Kyle for years why he was like why he would tell his returners don't return it, just literally just catch it. And now you're seeing like, man, you kind of understand maybe why he's doing that. But
they'd be better off letting every punt and kick bounce.
Yeah.
Don't just get away from it. It's explosive. Get away.
But that's partially on him because you need to make an emphasis on it in the offseason and get somebody that can do that can actually you trust to return the football.
They have Travis Benjamin. What are you talking about?
When have we ever seen anything with Travis Benjamin be a positive? Like I see him out there.
I'm with you, man.
He's getting
Coach. Isn't it crazy? Isn't it crazy that this season has come down to this though? Like one game against Houston with Trey Lance, and you're not sure that the Niners are going to win. Like, wow, I didn't think this was going to. I thought 2 weeks ago, I thought the Niners were definitely going to make the playoffs, and Jimmy was going to be there. And I was thinking, man, I mean, he might even win a playoff game or something. Now it's like they got to beat Houston at home, and I'm not sure that this team is prepared to win. Now they could, but this guy's coming in cold. He's like the guy who had to do the emergency warm up in the bullpen. It's like, oh, not right now. I haven't pitched since June. Okay, I got it. All right, okay. Whoa.
I think if there's 2 quarterbacks that might have the mental or emotional ability to handle this sort of thing, it's probably 2 rookies. Sorry, it's probably Trey Lance and Mac Jones, just because they were heads of super programs in each of their respective divisions in the NCAA. So when they stepped in, there was a lot of pressure that they've had to deal with. And Trey Lance stepped in the situation at North Dakota State, where he took over for a perennial powerhouse and in North Dakota State. Mac Jones, same thing. So I think both those guys are equipped to handle this sort of situation. I think if you look at Trey Lance's entire career, up to this point, I think he's put immense pressure on himself. I mean, he made a decision to forego Division I offers to go to, FBS offers to go to an FCS school and play quarterback. So I think he's equipped for it. We'll see.
Okay, let's talk about some factors that don't have to do with Trey Lance. Azeez Al-Shaair sprained his knee against Tennessee and didn't practice on Monday. Not sure if he's going to play in this upcoming game, but it's possible he won't. Knee sprain's serious. This could affect them into the playoffs, but this is their playoff game right here. So let's talk about how it could affect them against Houston. Houston isn't great, but they do have. I mean, we all know who Rex Burkhead is, the running back who was on the Patriots for a long time. He went for like 140 last week. So this team wants to run. They just had some success. It's going to be important. It's going to be key for the Niners to stop the run without Azeez.
I like Al-Shaair, but I don't think that he's going to determine whether or not they can stop the run game.
Yeah.
The Niners have gone through linebackers the entire year, and
yes,
so
they've been fine.
Right, they've been.
It's
fine.
the position. It's one of the positions they develop the best, right? Along with running back and defensive line.
Yeah, he's gonna be. They're gonna be fine. He's not
tight end.
If the Niners, if they run for 300 yards on the Niners, it's not because of Al-Shaair. If they run for 300 yards on the Niners, if Al-Shaair was in, it would have been the same thing. Maybe he would have, maybe it'd be like 20-yard difference. So
this is good news for Niner fans.
I mean, if they're going to stop the run, you need Fred Warner to play how he's been playing, and the defensive line to play how he's been playing, and the rest of the linebackers to fill in and play how they have been playing.
There are 4 positions on this team that seem to have backups who are ready to fill in. 4.
Linebacker, right? That's 1.
Running back, defensive line, and tight end. Now, look, I'm a big Ross Dwelley fan. He's an undrafted free agent. Charlie Warner, 6th-round pick. These guys are always prepared, and they always do a good job. They're not, George Kittle in the passing game, but they do it. They're prepared. They do a good job. That's a good position coach too. So those 4, as opposed to your backup corners, always seem like they are never prepared when they have to come in mid-game, stuff like that. Anyway, it could be worse.
Always remember too, corner is the second hardest position to play aside from quarterback. So
arguably harder considering all the rules that are in the quarterback's favor and all the rules that are not in the cornerback's favor. But another loss, and this one actually could be worse. Mitch Wishnowsky is in the COVID protocol. They don't know if he'll be cleared by the game time, but it's possible he won't. Let's assume he doesn't play. This, to me, is a bigger loss than Azeez Al-Shaair, and not because he's better. I mean, obviously, Azeez Al-Shaair is really good, and I don't think much of Mitch Wishnowsky, but he's not just the punter on this team. He's also the long snapper and Let me try that again. He's not just the punter on this team. He's the kickoff specialist and the holder. Misspoke. Kickoff specialist, holder, punter, 3 jobs. You're not going to find one guy to replace all 3. So now you have 3 jobs you got to replace on a special teams that's already awful. Who's the holder?
Well, there's a couple ways you can do this. The first is you can decide to go for 2 on everything. That'll minimize it. Like, you still might be in a position where you might need to kick a field goal, and you'll need a holder. So you do have to find a holder at some point. That's the first one. Mitch Wishnowsky, I think he started out having a good season as far as punting the ball, but after that it's kind of like eh. So
I think replacing him as a punter will be the easiest part. I mean,
right,
a lot of guys can punt the ball 39 yards.
Yeah, it could end up being a positive where they pick up a guy off the street and this guy is all of a sudden a great punter. And
That could happen. What I think is a bigger deal is the other two things.
It's
kickoff,
the holder.
This is going to affect Robbie Gould in two ways. One, now you got to kick kickoffs, and that's going to tire you. They already said they didn't want him kicking kickoffs because he's got a fatigue issue. He's old. If he can't get it in the end zone consistently, which now he couldn't, then now that's more pressure on your coverage units.
Or if they go the route of using two or filling a roster spot with another kicker because you don't want him to, because you could pull. There are some kickers that'll hold, and like I said, Wisnowski is a punter that holds. I mean, you could find a punter that does kickoffs that will also hold, but I don't know. You want to use an extra roster spot for that.
So who's the holder? I would think it's Nate Sudfeld. How good is he, and how will that affect Robbie Gould's extra points, field goals? I mean, is he gonna miss a field goal in this game that he otherwise wouldn't have had Wisnowski been the holder?
It could definitely, but Grant, I would also say if he did have his holder, he might have missed a field goal as well.
No, but so all I want to say is, like, we're all looking at Kyle this week. Like, man, you got to get Trey Lance up to speed in the next 7 days. Like, this whole season depends on your ability to get Trey Lance ready to play this game. Yeah, but it also depends on Richard Hightower's ability to get like a trio of people ready to replace Mitch. It's as important. So, Kyle, we're looking at you. Richard, we're looking at you too, man. The whole season depends on you, and it's unfortunate. I mean, you can't really prepare for this, but it's a weird year, and the Niners have been fortunate with this COVID stuff.
What I would say, if I'm Kyle, right, what I would say is, like, try to prepare for this as best, but you have to put your team in a situation where it doesn't come down to your special teams. Like, you have to score points on offense and defense. Don't, like, put yourself in a position where if your special teams misses extra points, it doesn't cost you the game. Like, that's what you need to do. Because chances are they probably will bungle some stuff. Like, they probably would have done it anyways, whether Mitch Wisnowski was the holder or not. So you got to minimize their impact. And how do you do it? Well, you have to take on more responsibility on your offense, on your defense, and, like, listen, you want to miss extra points, Hightower, miss extra points, but just don't fumble the football on kickoffs and punt returns. Don't get blocked. Don't get punts blocked.
Let Debo return the kicks. Must-win game, baby.
Literally anybody on the roster that, like, if you put Trent Williams back there and he shows you can return, they should put Trent Williams back there. Let return kicks. Like, anybody that can do it.
Debo should touch the ball 25 times in this game. I still remember there was a game where Terrell Owens caught 20 passes. What is it? The Niners have decided that Debo can't touch the ball more than 10 times a game. What is that? This is it. Season on the line. 20 targets. 20 targets. I want 20. I'm going to keep cracking my voice till I get it.
Or 20 touches. 20 touches of the Debo Samuel.
Why not? I mean, why would you cap it with the season? You want to like, pace him, but it's almost 2022. I think now would be a good time to every punt, every kickoff, every play. He should get 70 touches. Okay, I'm just kidding. Let's talk about a good injury development. Elijah Mitchell could finally return from his knee injury. He was cleared from his concussion a week ago. We don't know for certain that he's going to play this week, but it's looking like he might. And that, to me, would be very good news. I know I've been saying here that Jeff Wilson Jr. is better than him. I don't know. It seems pretty close. 6'1", half dozen other. It's nice to have both. I think that's my final judgment. It's nice to have both. Elijah Mitchell's got a little more juice to the outside. Jeff Wilson Jr. looks a little bit, it seems like he has a little bit better vision between the tackles. Whatever. They're a nice combination, and you can get 30, 40 rushes out of them. How could this affect the game?
But I think you kind of just hit on it, is the ways you can use them all together, and then coupled with Debo and Lance. Like,
it's nice.
Yeah, I mean, I think you've gone over with Jack before, where they'll put Jeff Wilson out there and use him as a lead blocker for Debo. That means Elijah Mitchell can catch the football, so you can flank out as a wide receiver, put Debo in the backfield, and you can do all. Also, Wilson can catch the football, so
that's right.
You can do a lot of things with personnel groupings with all those guys on the field.
And you can keep your run-pass ratio where you want it, which is 2-1. And I think people are expecting that the Niners offense is going to change with Trey Lance. Like, he's the third pick. You traded up for him. You're going to turn into this like bombs away offense. No, he didn't play that way in college. He was like a 19, 20 pass a game guy. That's what the Niners are when they win. I think having Elijah Mitchell and Jeff Wilson Jr. both out there healthy at the same time should prevent Kyle from doing what he did this past week, going the other direction and being pretty much 2-1 pass to run.
It can be more, like you said, bombs away, but it could not in the sense that you're throwing it more, but you can take more shots, like shot plays.
Yep.
Right.
Play action.
Yeah.
Play action. Remember that? Niners used to do that.
Yeah, your play action plays and your shot. I mean, your shot plays would, like, normally Jimmy's shot play, it's a dig across the middle. Trey Lance can do that, but you can also
throw up the sideline to Juszczyk.
Yeah.
Who's wide open.
It'd be really interesting if Kyle runs that same exact play this game. If he does that. And
that was the play that they ran for Trey Lance against Seattle, where he threw the touchdown to Debo. It was just to a different player.
Right.
And instead of overthrowing the guy by a mile, what did Lance do? He underthrew it. He underthrew it. He was wide open. Let him catch the ball. Give him a chance. And then what did he do? He caught it. And then he scored a touchdown. And a lot of people said, "Ooh, he didn't hit him in stride. Wasn't a good throw." Yeah, but he hit him. He hit him though. It was a touchdown.
Right. Even if Juice, if he underthrew him and Juice didn't score, that's better than missing him by like 30 yards.
Much better. All right, let's answer some questions and we'll get back to our final topic. James says the evidence will be in the progression of this next game. Trey Lance and Kyle will grow together. Well, they got 2 weeks. Things are going to get real toxic if they fall on their faces these next 2 weeks. Grant, you better believe I will be tuning in this Sunday. Couldn't have been scripted better than this. Let's go, Trey. I'm excited too, man. I've been wanting to watch Trey for a while. This is cool. We do have 1,900 people watching right now. I think it's mostly because of Trey Lance.
Really? So maybe you should just title all of your
Trey Lance.
Just Trey Lance.
Part 7.
Yeah.
Part 11.
Yeah.
G.I. Jones says Jimmy got injured taking snaps under center. That center was wow. Didn't see it coming. Whoa. Fair play to you, G.I. Joe. Love it. Moisha Elias says, thank you for singing Garcia's praises for nostalgia's sake and putting Jimmy into perspective. More importantly, who is better, Mooch versus Shanna Banana? I gotta say that probably Shanahan is a far superior coordinator. But I mean, what did Mariucci really do? He had Steve Young. I don't know. No.
It's hard to say. It's hard to say at this point. I mean, yeah. I guess Mooch had maybe longevity. I mean, he made the playoffs, right?
Established team that he took over from Seifert.
Yeah.
I don't know. Hard to say. I was a kid. I didn't really cover the Mooch. I was a fan of the team back then, so I couldn't.
Their defense. Yeah, as far as I remember, their defense was bad for a while.
Yeah. No matter what happens the rest of the season, Trey playing in games that count is invaluable experience. BT-Dub, Trey gives us the best chance to advance.
I do want to say back on I agree. One commonality that they do have is that Mooch did reestablish 49ers run game when he came in. So
that's true. They hadn't been able to run the ball since they won the Super Bowl. And then he came in and immediately brought in Garrison Hurst. Yeah. And then Hurst got hurt and they brought in Charlie Garner. It's true.
Yeah.
Stilo 41510 says no matter what happens the rest of the season, Trey playing. Oh, wait, hold on. We did that already. Thank you. I appreciate you. No, what I wanted to say is I agree. It's better that he should have had more, but it's good that he gets this experience.
Yes.
Daryl, thank you. You're a valued member of the team. Stilo again says, I'm convinced that funky game plan against the Cards was due to Trey's broken finger. This game will be much different. I think that's true. I don't know if it was. I think that's why Kyle did it. I agree. And we're going to talk about that next. That's coming up. How to use Trey Lance. Clint Leach says this is a blessing in disguise. Jimmy wasted one of the best rosters in the NFL. Niners couldn't just make the switch. Thanks for 2019, Jimmy. Well, we'll see. It's possible because I don't think this team was going anywhere with Jimmy this year. I've been saying it all year.
I don't think so.
I don't know if they're going anywhere with a rookie who has played a game and a half, but at least he has the ability to take his game to another level, and Jimmy doesn't. Jimmy doesn't.
We'll never know where Trey Lance could have been had he played the entire season.
True.
Where would he have been at this point? Like, imagine if he played this entire season. We don't know.
Yeah, they'd probably have the same record right now, and he'd be peaking like Davis Mills. I'm so excited that the Trey era officially begins now. Been waiting all season for this. Trey will take us deep in the playoffs. Man, high expectations for the kid. He certainly could. You know, one thing, there's not a lot of tape on him. There's not probably really a sophisticated scouting report to stop him. It'll be very interesting to see what teams do, or if they just kind of play, you know, sort of basic vanilla stuff and use it as a diagnostic experience.
We've talked tinfoil hat like this whole time when I've been on your show for the last probably 2 months or so.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe this was a way of protecting if Trey Lance's fingers is what maybe we think it was, and maybe Kyle was going to insert him earlier, but he wanted to protect him. He didn't want him to put him out there on a bad finger and have bad throws just because of his finger. He wanted to protect him. Like, listen, I'm not going to start this kid until his finger is totally healed. And
possible. That would make sense. Corley says, you have 2K watching. There's another Niner Reporter live stream with 42 watching right now. Ha ha. Ha ha. I don't know who you're talking about, but yeah, people made the right choice, I think.
Yeah.
Said, Grant, do you think Shanahan should just take the reins off of Trey and let him gain that much needed confidence? No, I think they should go training wheels and have him hand off. He should be handing off left, right. He should be doing some like spinning handoffs, some, windmill handoffs, like master the handoff, like Jimmy Garoppolo. Can you make this game easy for him, please, the way you do for CJ and all your other quarterbacks, please?
I think training wheels to a certain extent. I do think you have to be more aggressive.
I want some shots too. I want some shots too. Absolutely. Because he's not going to be as precise on the short to intermediate stuff as Jimmy anyway.
He also tends to he also will tend to be by nature his game will be conservative. So he's gonna want to check it down and
True.
That's just the nature of his game. So I think with him you have to be a little bit more aggressive than you would be with Jimmy.
All Pro Warner 54 says the Jimmy conspiracy theorist. He most likely got a shot of Toradol at half and didn't feel the pain until the next day. Nah, I don't think so, because then he would have been involved with the trainers, and this would have been something that was reported and talked about. I think this was very informal until recently. That's yes.
Sometimes when you're playing with the adrenaline and
yes,
just the heated
you don't feel it.
when your muscles and everything are heated and going, like you don't feel things until after.
Or maybe Jimmy legitimately wanted to be the tough guy, team captain, who didn't use it as an excuse. I mean, isn't that maybe?
It's
possible. He used the Thursday night game as an excuse, and Jimmy running and Kittle running the wrong route as an excuse, and Ayuk as an excuse, and other things. But maybe he didn't want to use that as an excuse. I don't know.
It's tough with that sort of like you wouldn't necessarily know unless the player told you like, oh, my thumb hurts, because like if he had a broken ankle, you'd see he'd be limping. But necessarily, like, unless that ball is coming out real funny, and even then you could ask Jimmy, "Oh, what's going on?" And be like, "Nothing. I don't know. Like, I don't know what's going on. Like, I'm good."
Wow. Desmond Williams says, "What's a good place to eat in Santa Clara? Going to my first Niner game, fan since '94 Trey season." Look, hate to say it, but if you live in Santa Clara, it's like In-N-Out Burger, Five Guys. It's like all the chains, and they got all the good ones. They got Chick-fil-A and stuff, but if you're looking for like I don't know San Jose like that. I'm from Oakland. So if you're looking for like a really nice restaurant, I can only give you Oakland and San Francisco suggestions. And that's 45 minutes away from you. So I would say don't check out Yelp. Download Foursquare. Foursquare is a better app at telling you, especially in the Bay Area, of like the best places to go, because Yelp tells you what you think you like. Everyone gives 5-star reviews or 1-star reviews, but Foursquare actually measures like how often you return, that kind of stuff, what people really like. So I'm sure there'll be something there. Go, something good. Foursquare, check it out.
Hey, but Foursquare, what's good with the sponsorship?
Yeah, I'm trying to say, love Foursquare. I use that every place I go in America. Vikrant S says, is Lance better at going through his reads than Jimmy? I guess we'll see.
Find out.
Guess we'll see. It's hard to say what Lance is right now. I've seen him in practice. We'll see. Sorry, I can't give you a better answer. I have a feeling Kyle opened up the playbook the last month in preparation for Trey. I hope I'm right. I hope you're right too. I hope you're right too, man. I don't know.
This game's going to help answer a lot of questions in regards to Lance and some of the questions we had with that last Arizona game.
Do we think Kyle will open up the playbook for Trey this time, or will we see another conservative game like the Arizona game? I think it'll be conservative, but I don't think it'll be like the Arizona game. I don't think he's going to play running back in this game, if you know what I mean. There were 9 or 10. There were like 12 called quarterback runs in that game. I don't think they're going to do that in this game.
Hopefully not.
Jimmy hurt his thumb tweeting back at John Lynch. Twitter fingers got real dangerous. Whatever happened to the cornerback Lenore? Injured in Shanny's doghouse? Early on was considered better than Thomas. Can't be worse than Norman. Doghouse!
Yeah, doghouse. And I think ultimately also their plan was to play him. Like they want to use him as a nickel too. So that's probably where they're training. They're only going to play him outside where necessary. And they're rolling with Ambry.
Yeah. Rolling with Ambry and Doghouse. I think they're still blaming him for losing the game week 3 to Green Bay. Leandro. Am I not reading today? Leandro Guthrie Jr. says, I think we became predictable with Jimmy. The other teams at times looked like they had our playbook. Jimmy can't throw a pass over 6 yards. Yeah. I've been trying to say that.
Over 6 yards, and he always throws in the middle of the field. So
always.
Protect
like
the middle
10%
of
his passes outside the numbers.
Yeah, protect the middle of the field, and he will give you the football. He will throw you the football.
I mean, if you just look back and realize that the Tennessee Titans had like the second best run defense in the league, and their opponent quarterback rating on passes over the middle was 70, be like, oh, that's a bad matchup for Jimmy. Yeah. Oh, that's going to be a very bad game for Jimmy because he's not going to take what the defense gives him outside the numbers. He's just going to keep forcing it over the middle constantly. We've seen it all. Yeah, we've seen that. Sorry.
Yeah.
Few more questions. Will this be similar to when Cap took over for Alex? Kaepernick was almost 25. Kaepernick was in his second year in the league. So it's
was it?
What
was his first game? Was his first game versus the Patriots? His full game, or was it the Bears?
Bears. That was 2012. He was drafted in 2011. He was a second round pick, so there was no urgency to play him as a rookie. Trey Lance is 21. It could be. It'll be interesting. It could be. Could be. I'm tempering my expectations because it seems like a lot to expect this guy to come in and tear it up.
Right.
When 2 weeks ago they didn't trust him to even come in at the end of a blowout.
And you shouldn't. But I think you have to. I think you have to temper when you're looking at this game. You have to temper what your expectations would have been with Jimmy, because Jimmy's not been killing it this year either. So
good point.
Like, when you measure him relative to the quarterback that was going to play, who has been turning the ball over and he's been not playing like a top 10 quarterback, regardless of what people will tell you. So that's what you have to measure against.
What about Jimmy G in Washington? That's a good team if that's his landing spot.
It's all about what the price is, right? Jimmy at $25 million for any team is not going to be good. If the Niners release him and you can get him for $10 million, something around there, he probably can be a solid quarterback because he's going to turn the ball over. So you have to make your team better around him. And
he's going to get hurt. And so you have to have a good backup quarterback. Yeah. So he's doubly expensive. It's the price you pay in the trade, the price you pay in the contract, and then the price you pay for the starting level quarterback, backup quarterback who can come in and win you some games when inevitably Jimmy Garoppolo gets hurt for the second time that year.
Yeah.
That moment when a pocket breaks down and Trey launches out of the pocket, bang, bang, Niner gang. Yes. Looking forward to that moment too. It's going to be fun. If we're worried about development, why not encourage Lance to pass? He needs the training, right? LOL. Okay, I'm done. That was good. Training. I like all the Trey puns that we're going to get into the next few years.
If I recall, Grant, in that 49er game, in that Cardinals game, he did avoid quite a few
sacks. Quite well. Quite a few sacks. He's good at it. He's a hell of an athlete, man. He really does have the tools to become a top 5 quarterback in the league eventually. With Trey starting now, what vibes do you feel? I'm feeling some vibes. What about you? What kind of vibes you feeling? Just all the vibes. Most of the vibes.
I think depending on how Lance goes on Sunday, I told you so vibes, but we'll see.
Ooh, I like that. Those are my favorite vibes. 2012 Cap,
Yeah.
2021 Trey Cap Part 2. That would be cool. Is he going to take? See, I think Kaepernick got like seven games in the regular season. I want to say, like this is 2 games, and then like go on a run and beat Brady and Rodgers and Dak. Maybe. Hey, that would be cool. There's no tape on him. Wouldn't it be cool?
There is no tape on him, and I mean it could set up quite nicely because it looks like are the Niners still on track to play the Rams probably twice 2 weeks in a row, because the thing about that game is it's probably going to be that whole setup is favoring the Rams because the Rams probably won't have much to play for in that game, but the Niners will have everything to play for. So Kyle has to empty his playbook, and Sean McVay doesn't. So the Rams can just sit on and see what the Niners do, and then be ready for the following week when the Niners have to empty the whole thing. Now, with Trey there, the Niners will be constantly installing new stuff and putting new things. So they're going to have, for that second Rams game, is not going to be the same as the first because
yeah, I'm with you. S Brown 235 says, "Do you feel if Kyle has another game plan of QB dives for Trey, this would show he never really wanted Trey and doesn't know how to use him?" Yes. If that's what we see on Sunday, then I'm just gonna lose it.
Although
I'm just gonna lose it.
If they want to ground and pound and they've got 4th and 1, I mean, I don't know if Trey's as good as Jimmy with getting that 1 yard, but.
Peter says Jimmy's looking at Debo throwing a no-look pass that was drop pick on a slow-mo clip on Undisputed SMH. Jimmy is looking at Debo throwing a no-look pass. Is looking at Debo throwing a no-look pass that was drop pick and slow-mo clip on Undisputed. Oh, what? Is that he said when he threw the one to Rashaan Evans, he was looking at Debo and throwing a no-look pass? Oh, wow. Well, wow. Nice. Can Lance master the quarterback sneak like Jimmy? We were just saying. I think he can. But I don't know. Jimmy really sets a high bar on that one. So hard to expect. That's a high. Yeah, it's hard to expect. If only it could just be a plus quarterback sneaker. Jimmy can have 12 fingers. He'll still throw INTs. Yeah.
It's
Sorry.
not.
He wasn't playing well before the interception. I mean, before the
throw picks of his finger.
There's no doghouse. Everyone works the banana stand. I found a banana stand in Nashville. A real banana. It was closed.
Did you buy a banana?
It was closed. It was Christmas Eve. Xavier says, "What's with Kyle never using the timeouts in the first half? Never calls them when the SF has the ball near the end of the half. Take a shot, Kyle." Yeah, he did that in the Super Bowl too. It's like you don't trust Jimmy now, and you run out the clock, but then inevitably you give the game to Jimmy in the fourth quarter, and you end up throwing twice as much as you run. But so what? Where's the consistency?
Yeah, there isn't.
Grant, watch you every day all the way from Puerto Rico. Thank you. My question is, what has been the best and worst offensive and defensive performance by the 49ers? Oh, damn. I mean, Kittle and Debo both have ones that are worthy. I mean, Nick Bosa has ones that are worthy. Jimmy Ward's 2 interception performance was worthy.
Yeah.
Aziz had some like games where he like 15 tackles. Jimmy has some games where he like really no.
It's got to be like for offense. I don't know if he's talking about individual offensive performance or team offensive and defensive performance.
Okay.
If you're talking about individually, I think it's got to be one of the Debo or Kittle games for offensive performance. Defensive performance, I would probably say it's one of the Bosa games, right? Was it 2 games ago when he had the forced fumble, 2 sacks and a forced fumble? I
would do it.
Yeah.
San Fran 49er fan says, "Will this be like when Young came in for Montana? Fans need to temper their expectations and hope Kyle has a better game plan than Trey. Let's freaking go." I was really young when Young came in for Montana. I think I was 3. So I can't tell you what the vibe was like back then. But it's not like Trey Lance has to replace the greatest quarterback of all time. He's replacing Jimmy. I think the more the pressure is the trade. The freaking trade. I mean, 3 first-round picks. You better look good, dude. I mean, that's a lot of pressure. It's not even pressure that he has anything to do with. Like if the Niners had just drafted Trey Lance with the number 3 pick, it'd be totally different.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Leandro says, what would it cost us to release Jimmy? Like $2 million in dead cap? Nothing. $25 million in cap savings. Would it be worth releasing him if we can't get more than a Big Mac? Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Absolutely. Good question. We've been banging that drum for a while. I think Trey's an upgraded quarterback. Jimmy's a game manager who has to be managed. Hilarious. Yeah, he gets managed. I'm with you. My pinned tweet is that Trey Lance. My pinned tweet is that Trey Lance gives the Niners the best chance to win. So hopefully I don't have to take that down.
Yeah.
In the middle of the night.
Alex Smith was a game manager, but he didn't turn the ball over.
That's a real game manager. Watch Kyle make Sudfeld QB1. QB1. I'm watching Friday Night Lights, and they say that a lot. QB1.
Friday Night Lights, the series,
the show. Yeah. CJT says Texans may be interested in Jimmy Garoppolo. No, they're not. They have Davis Mills. Watch Davis Mills this weekend. He's nice. Texas may be interested in Jimmy Garoppolo. Xavier would make a blah, blah, blah. No. He'd be a backup to Davis Mills at this point, an expensive backup. But I feel you. But this guy has the Texans thing in his bio, so I don't know his picture. Maybe you should just stick with Davis Mills as someone who's watched a lot of Jimmy. Stick with Davis. His name is I like Davis. Good name. Jimmy was finally fed up. If anyone wonders who leaked the real injury to Rappaport, the Lynch tweet probably was the final straw. Doubt if Jimmy's camp bought Lynch's Jesus distract me. Look. A lot of weird things happened between Thursday night and Monday. So it's possible the injury got worse. It's also possible that the relationship deteriorated. That both things are true. Both things. And that's possibly why Jimmy wasn't as forthcoming as the Niners as we would have expected. And how the Niners all of a sudden didn't have the right information. What? That seems weird. Seems like you tell your employer first, as opposed to letting them get it wrong in a press conference and then making them look bad. Anyway, last thing, we build up to it all morning. How to use Trey Lance versus Houston. I think a lot of people have been giving their suggestions, and we all agree, you better not use him like you used him in Arizona. Better not. And that was, I think, 9 handoffs and I think 12 quarterback design runs with some scrambles thrown in. That can't happen again because, 1, it didn't work, 10 points. 2, he got hurt. And if he gets hurt now, the season's really over. I mean, if he gets hurt and can't finish this game, you're not going to win with Nate Sudfeld.
No. You
don't have Jimmy Waiton. You don't have Tyrod Taylor or Colt McCoy. So he's got to make it through the game and play the week after. He can't be a running back in this game. How about start there?
No, he cannot be a running back.
No. So they need to play him like they use Jimmy Garoppolo. That means a lot of handoffs, and I think they can if Elijah Mitchell and Jeff Wilson Jr. are there. That's the first thing, and that's a good start.
A lot of handoffs. He needs give him the Jimmy gimmies, give him some of the screen game. Then
the play action bootleg where all you have to do is kind of just to the guy in the flat,
yes.
That one all day. Those are layups.
Well, yeah, you're giving them level reads. You're giving them high low, and normally what happens is they cover the high read and the low read's wide open, and you just dump it off to the flat. 5 yards.
Yeah. Settle down. Don't throw the ball too hard because he tends early in the game. He'll just fire passes like, whew, let's throw some balls that you literally can't do that. Just some calm down, get in the flow of the game. It's layups. Don't brick it off the backboard. It's just a layup. It's relax. I like to see that. But if you just make him hand off as much as you did with Jimmy Garoppolo, it's a great start. If you say we don't really want you to throw more than 25 times, it's a great start because half of those throws can be play action. A quarter of those throws can be deep shots, and he's not going to be as accurate as Jimmy. But if he gives you 2 or 3 big plays with his arm and a couple big plays with his legs on just non-designed scrambles, and doesn't turn the ball over, well, you're going to win easily.
Right, and that's not to say don't use designed runs because they should use designed runs.
1 or 2. Well, I say 1 or 2, and they could be on a 4th down in the red zone. What you're calling it to get a touchdown or a first down in a critical moment. You're not wasting it on first down in the first quarter.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I'd probably go more like 4 or 5, but I think
whatever.
Not,
But it's critical times of the game where you're trying to get a first down or a touchdown. It's not like, backed up on 1st and 10 where between the tackles so he can get decked by 2 defensive linemen at the same. No. Hand off to Elijah Mitchell. Hand off to Elijah Mitchell.
Right. Hand off to Debo.
And I just feel like the presence and threat of Trey Lance will make everyone's yards per carry improve. Like when Cap took over for Alex Smith, I think it's debatable whether the passing efficiency really improved, but the running efficiency did. Look at, I think Frank Gore went from averaging like 4 yards a carry to 5. And that's the effect that Lance will have on Mitchell and Wilson and Debo.
Right. And then the shot play, that you have to insert that part of the game because that's the part of the game you're not getting with Jimmy Garoppolo. It'll be interesting to see how the Texans play him because normally defenses want to pack the middle versus Jimmy Garoppolo. Are they going to take that same approach towards Trey Lance because he does have the ability to throw outside, although he is a rookie. So you generally toward rookies, you want to make them throw the football. So
no, if I were Kyle Shanahan, I would kind of avoid the middle of the field here because that's where he throws picks when he misses high and he hits the safety over the wide receiver. So if he's missing high, let him miss high on the sidelines because then it just hits a hot dog vendor or an assistant coach, and that's okay. Yeah. So I would use him that way. Throwing more to the outside, more like how Tannehill does. He threw a lot of passes outside to AJ Brown. That's good. High and outside. If it misses, it's just an incomplete pass.
Right.
That's the way to go.
If he's going to throw over the middle, they need to be wide open passes over the middle.
Agree. And the last thing I want to say, the reason I said 1 or 2 designed runs, normally I would say at least 5. Next year when they have a backup quarterback like Colt McCoy or Tyrod Taylor, at least 5. But this is a particular game that they have to win. And they're not going to win if Nate Sudfeld has to play any amount of time. And I can't, as a coach, have Trey Lance, sprain his thumb and miss a game. I can't even risk him having a small injury because we got to win this game. So that's why I would just be a little bit more conservative than usual in this game and say only in got to have it situations. I don't know how many I'm going to face, but mostly I want you to play like Jimmy in the sense of your handoff specialist this week. And your passes will be to different quadrants of the field, but your pass to run ratio will be the same.
So to that, I would say you got to go back to what we just said. And sorry, you want to keep Trey Lance throwing 25 times a game. So how do you do that? You got to run the football.
Yes.
So and what are the Texans going to try to do? Stop you from running the football.
Yes.
How can I make my run game better? Is
involve him.
Involve Trey Lance. Yeah. Not necessarily that he has to carry the ball all the time, but the threat has to be there so that you can play 11-on-11 football.
Teams like to do that. They'll call one QB run early just to put the threat out there. But I think if you have him lined up anywhere in the field, teams are going to honor that threat, whether or not he's running the ball consistently or not. I think
sometimes I think if you don't do it, if you don't do it, especially as the game goes on, I know that they will.
They're going to do it eventually. They're going to do it eventually. It's going to happen.
You have to keep a team honest. So I'm going to say if that end is if you see that end crashing down, you got to call the quarterback.
But the way I look at it is like if you don't do it in the first half, and then the second half they're like, okay, well we're not going to honor it. Great, then I'll call it on the play that wins the game for me. Great. Yeah, you think I'm not going to do it then? Good call. Just wait until it's fourth and goal from or second and goal from the 5. We'll just wait.
But then I would say, are you sure you're going to be at that point at that time to be able to win the game?
I bet you don't lose the game and not even get that arrow out of your bag. I feel you on that.
Yeah.
All right, let's get these questions and wrap it up.
Tim Riggins.
Yeah, man. He's one of these like 30-year-old high school kids. This is one of the things about this show is they're all hella old. The show's old. The players are old. And I'm looking them up now, and they're all like in their 40s and stuff. I'm like, damn. Tim Riggins, though. My father, rest in peace, was friends with McNair, rest in peace, and took me to every college game he was in. 3-time Pro Bowler, Cohn MVP, and the first African-American quarterback to win AP NFL MVP, amazing player. He was an amazing player. Yeah. Maybe he was better than Garcia, although I was a Niner fan at the time, so I was biased, but I felt that Garcia was right there with him. Now, Garcia had Owens. and McNair had nothing. I mean, he had Eddie George, right? Kevin Dyson. So yeah, maybe McNair was better.
Yeah,
I still feel like Garcia was in the conversation.
Wycheck was a good tight end.
I thought McNair was a tier 1 quarterback for 3 years. I never felt Garoppolo was even a tier 2 quarterback. He was 3.
Oh,
3 or 4.
Yeah, McNair, they're not in the same league.
No, McNair was really good, man. He was way before his time. Like, he had to hand off a lot, and he had to be in a pro-style offense. Imagine if McNair played 20 years later and could have played in an offense like, Kyler Murray does, stuff like that.
Right.
Russell James, thank you. Steve Young was ahead of his time in a sense too.
Yeah.
Percentage of making the playoff with Dolphins win.
I think they said 54%.
It's still around 60. But I think if the Niners win this week, it goes up big time. Oh my gosh, Jimmy is terrible in the pocket. He doesn't look down the field when the rush is coming, and his legs and feet are glued in one spot. That is true. Like, he just refuses to move to a safe position. That is true. And weird. Yeah. Again, it seems like he's kind of uncoachable. Like, he just kind of does what he wants to do. Maybe if he went back to the Patriots, he would listen again. But I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, didn't you report a couple of weeks ago when Kyle had a talk with him, and then he said something to the effect is, "This is effing simple. Can you do it or not?"
Yeah, Chicago. Grant is my favorite shock jock. Me? I'm measured and contemplative. What are you talking about? You made a pretty big deal about the Lance package in training camp. Do you think we will finally see that? I do. I think we're finally going to see Trey Lance running the offense. He's been in it for more than half a year. I think we're going to see him under center, handing off, play action, rolling left, rolling right, moving the pocket. I think we're finally going to see what they were dabbling with in training. We're going to see some zone read spread stuff too, but we're going to see a lot of him under center. I think we will.
It's possible you might see more under center than gun, because I think some of the gun stuff had to do with that's where Jimmy's comfort level was. And
that's the Jimmy offense.
Right.
But Lance was under center in college.
He did do gun stuff. But what does Kyle really want to do? Kyle wants to be under center.
Yes, because that's where your play action game comes from. And they pretty much had to scrap it for Jimmy.
Yeah.
They don't want to do that. Got to go vertical with Lance. He can't succeed throwing into the Jimmy windows in the middle of the field. Deep shots early will open everything else up. Agree. They really have opposite passing windows. It's kind of like Jimmy is the guy who has no 3-point shot, but he's kind of good at those turnaround, difficult fadeaway twos. And Trey's terrible at those. Like, he's Giannis. He's like, dude, don't get it. Don't do that. Just, shoot the 3 and dunk. Shoot the 3 and dunk. Just be honest. That's kind of how I would look at that one.
Yeah, I think the difference is some of the things that limits Jimmy outside are physical limitations, and Lance's it's not physical limitations. So, I think that Trey can get better at throwing in the middle.
Perfect scenario. Trey first plays Texans and then Rams. Jimmy gets traded because of finger. Win only a playoff game, but excused as a rookie. I mean, winning 2 playoff games would be a good scenario too. I mean, it's not like the Niners have a first round pick it doesn't really matter. But yeah, that would be a good scenario. I agree. Thank you.
If the Niners could trade Jimmy and not have to be on the hook for any of that salary, that would be perfect. Like, literally, if they got anything for him.
Literally anything. See if I missed anything. No. It's been a Mondo show. Is Lance a healthy version of RG3, or is that not a fair comparison? I would not compare them.
No, not.
Lance is bigger. Everyone wants to. You always compare. I'm going to go there. You always compare black quarterbacks to black quarterbacks, white quarterbacks to white quarterbacks. And I think a lot of people, when they think about Lance, what they're seeing is a black quarterback, and they're like, he's not ready. Think about him as a white guy with this skill set. If he was a white guy, what would you be thinking of him? You'd be like, oh my God, this is Andrew Luck. But he doesn't look like Andrew Luck, so you don't make that comparison. But they have a very similar skill set. Like, the comparison for him is Josh Allen, Andrew Luck. I mean, Daniel Jeremiah wrote an article last year saying this is Andrew Luck. It exists.
I said on one of your shows for a long time ago, I thought his comp was Andrew
Luck. So, I mean, I'm not saying that you're doing, but a lot of times when who does he remind me of? Yeah, well, he doesn't look like Andrew Luck. Well, he's built like Andrew Luck. He plays like Andrew Luck. It's a lot of similarities there. So, no, I would not go the RG3 route. RG3 was smaller, faster, played in a different style of offense in college.
Yeah, even the physical comparison with Andrew Luck, he's both those guys were big dudes, and like big dudes. The way they ran the football, and I think also the way they both processed. I think he Trey Lance. I think he processes the game very well, but we'll find out on Sunday.
Is the read option dead in San Fran? No, it's just got revived. It's coming back. With Brandon and George stepping up in the second half of the season, I hope they help the rookie. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see him play with. He didn't play with Kittle in Arizona, right? Kittle didn't play that game.
No.
So he's going to have the full
Monty,
as they say. He was due for a crappy game. We can ask for him to be great every game. Bring back Jimmy Guap. Said no one ever. You really feel that way? Man, bring him back? Have we had enough? It's been like half a decade.
He was due for a crappy game. He's had 3 this year. He's had 3 games of 2 interceptions.
All right. Well, please tell me Shanahan will get him out of the pocket, unlike the AZ game. Yeah, please, man. Unlike the preseason, what he did in practice. It's just a lot of play action pocket movement, and he's really good at throwing on the run. To me, his inaccuracy, he's like when he's in the pocket he's like a dancer counting steps. It's very mechanical. 1 and 2 and this and like no. But when he's running around, it's like an athlete. All of a sudden, it's very natural, and he's not thinking anymore. Yeah, man, rolling left, rolling right, a lot of that. And you give him a run pass option. If it's not there, just freaking scramble.
You know what they are going to do at least one time in this game? They've done it preseason. They've done it in practice. They've done it a lot. They did the last time when they played Arizona. You guys can call me out on it the next time I do a cast. Is they're going to go 5 wide, and they're going to do QB draw.
Yeah, I like that.
They've done it. They did it in the preseason.
Yeah.
They did it in practice.
Yeah, it's a good call.
They did it last time in Arizona. You can count on it for one play against I agree. The Texans.
I agree.
It'll probably work too.
Lance is more like Josh Allen than Andrew Luck. Maybe. I mean, it's both high praise.
It's not
a have Allen's arm.
Yeah, he's not exactly Andrew Luck, but there are a lot of things you see with Andrew Luck, and he's not. I don't think he's as raw as Josh Allen was.
Deport him to Greece? Who and why? Grant, can I get a Hoya? I don't get it.
Hey,
you think Ayuk will get off with Lance at quarterback? I don't think they're going to throw a lot in this game, but I do think you're going to see Ayuk get the ball down the field. You'll see Trent Sherfield get involved again because that was Lance's guy in training camp. When everyone was talking about Sherfield's great camp, because he had a quarterback who would throw him the ball deep outside the numbers in Lance. So I'm curious to see if Sherfield.
I think if Ayuk goes off, it'll be because Lance hits him on a bomb and it gets him like huge. Yeah, it gets him a huge game.
Thank you on the raise point, Grant. Yeah, I guess no one talks about it, but I've been thinking recently, like, what if Lance was white? What would the narrative been around him all year? And is the reason that people just assume he's not ready because he's, not white? I mean, he's mixed. But yeah. I think a lot of the people don't talk about it, but I think a lot of people just assume with certain players, like if you're athletic and white, the athleticism's a bonus. But if you're athletic and black, you have to sort of corral your athleticism and learn to play like a white guy. Like that's to me kind of what happens a lot.
What was interesting, if people remember this, is Byron Leftwich, because Byron Leftwich was a black quarterback in a time where there weren't a lot of like pocket passer black quarterbacks. And so he had that connotation with him. Like people looked at him differently because he wasn't the athletic, the super athletic guy.
Right.
The big, he had a good arm.
David Garrard was a little bit like that too.
Yeah.
Like this doesn't fit the mold of like the one kind of black quarterback we're used to. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Colin Kaepernick 2.0. I think he maybe at first in how he's used, but I think the whole thing with this guy is his upside is on the Andrew Luck, Josh Allen spectrum. He could be way better. He's like a solid 4 years younger than Kaepernick was when Kaepernick started playing with the Niners. For the first time all year, there's something all 49er fans can agree on. Running backs need more than 10 total carries this game, I think. Yeah, and all the Niner fans are ready to pounce on Kyle for that. Like, I wish you would do that again. I wish you would do that again. Do it again, Kyle. See what happens.
And Trey Lance is not a running back.
No. Read option with Trey and Debo equals touchdown. Yeah, we haven't seen that yet.
No.
We haven't seen it yet. Can't wait. I can't wait. Can't wait. I can't wait. Like Sleepy Brown. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's not so unless Grant singing.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Sleepy Brown was great. And then he never got enough credit. I like the Sleepy Brown songs with Outkast. Those are some of my favorite Outkast songs. Just saying. I'm more of a Big Boy guy than an Andre guy, although I love Andre. Yeah. But just Andre's the kind of guy who'd be like, let me do a verse about how I'm not going to wear Nikes because they're problematic. Like, you know what, Andre? Anyway, neither here nor there. Thank you very much, everyone, for watching the show. I'll be back later with Jack Hammer, and we're going to talk about the 49ers. Probably Jimmy Garoppolo, Trey Lance, Kyle Shanahan in some order. We're back. We're not going to do film today, though, because, really, let's talk. We have more to talk about. Sorry. Do you want to talk about 10? That game was like 3 weeks ago. We got this. Things have happened. Hold on. For Lance, can I get a ho yeah? No, I don't get it. I'm confused. You love that song? I love that song too. It's an oldie.
I had forgotten about that song until you just broke out with it.
Because it wasn't in an Outkast album, was it? Was it in the like the Dungeon Family? I think it was in the Dungeon Family Collective album that came out when I was in 8th grade. Might have been. Anyway, thanks for watching, everyone. I'll get the answer to that another time.
Till next time, guys.